Right now on the night team, a dwindling city hall in picturesque Bloomfield, Kentucky is leaving residents with many unanswered questions. The folks who live in the Nelson County town are just now finding out that their police chief, city clerk, and several other officials are no longer on the job. WHAS 11 night team's Connor Steffen and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie went to Bloomfield tonight, where employees say some resigned while others they believe were unjustly fired.
In Bloomfield, Kentucky, City Hall staff is shrinking.
Positions that are now gone: police chief, city clerk, superintendent, and 2 maintenance techs positions.
All within the past week. Bloomfield employees tell us on Friday, City Mayor Chris Dudgeon fired Police Chief Steve Cameron.
It's very uneasy.
I feel very uneasy. I feel very sad.
City Clerk Karen Biederman also fired.
I want nothing but the best for the city.
I say it's unjust. Again, you had two people. This was their means of living.
In response, the now former Public Works Superintendent Travis Clark handed in his resignation.
So why resign? I mean, that's your means of making a living.
Because I feel right is right and wrong is wrong. My conscience wouldn't let me stand by and see two honest people terminated for doing the right thing.
Several former and current city officials believe the firings could be in response to an ongoing investigation here in the city. Nelson County Sheriff Ramon Pinaroa tells us his office will soon take over that investigation, previously led by former Bloomfield Police Chief Steve Cameron.
The now former employees, Police Chief Steve Cameron, City Clerk Karen Biederman, and Superintendent Travis Clark tell us the investigation surrounded the misuse of city funds. Two current city council members also confirming it. In a statement to WHAS 11, Mayor Dudgeon said, quote, "There have been recent personnel changes, but it will not affect the operations of the city or services provided to our citizens." Even with that, the residents are still left wondering.
I would just like to know what his plan is.
As they wait, Bloomfield is left with a fragmented government.
If there was an emergency with our water, what would happen? There's a lot that plays into the fact, and there's nobody here to answer them.
Left without answers, a small town waits.
They need to know what's going on.
I have no words. I feel like we deserve better than that.
Anxiously, as their home, its government, and future remains up in the air. In Bloomfield, Kentucky, Connor Steffen, the WHAS 11 night team on your side.
New details tonight as the former Louisville Urban League president is suing the organization, and the former CEO, Sadiqa Reynolds, claiming her firing was retaliation. In news statements tonight, both the league and Reynolds are denying the allegations. Kish Kumi Price was named the new president after Reynolds left the job at the end of 2022, but Price was fired in March of this year. In the lawsuit, Price said that the National Urban League informed her that Louisville's league was out of compliance because they were not properly reporting their education and federal health grants. Price claims that she learned the league used grant money for things it was not earmarked for and moved grant money from the Urban League to pay for the Norton Sports and Learning Complex. She says once she made the National Urban League aware of this and was planning an audit of the local branch, she was fired. In a statement sent to WHAS 11 News tonight, the Louisville Urban League says, quote, "The league vehemently denies the baseless allegations made by Dr. Price and will vigorously defend against the meritless claims in the complaint to protect its mission, vision, and value." And Sadiqa Reynolds also sent us a statement tonight saying when she recommended Price as her replacement, she, quote, "had every hope and confidence for her success. What unfolded over her 5-month tenure, the board concluded, required her termination." From Sadiqa Reynolds tonight. All new on the night team. The search for a permanent Metro Police Chief for Louisville is still underway. Mayor Craig Greenberg still hasn't made his choice. But today, a recent public survey conducted about the job was released. WHAS 11 night team's Taylor Woods has the results and why some community leaders are raising questions about it. Taylor?
Well, Doug, I spoke to community leaders who were shocked based on the amount of responses, but the survey also reveals what those who responded to it want in the next police chief.
The job of Metro Police Chief, one of the highest paid positions in Metro government. The current interim chief, Jackie Gwenville-Rowell, currently makes just over $200,000 a year. As the mayor researches the qualities for a full-time chief, new results of a community survey are now public.
And honestly was that I wish there had been a larger participation rate by minorities and African Americans.
The survey was available online through Louisville Metro's website. Only 1,214 people responded. It breaks down this way. 74% of the people who responded are white. Just 16% of those responses came from black people. The other 10% came from other ethnicities.
Out of how many millions do we have in Louisville, and only 1,200 response?
Russell neighborhood leader Jackie Floyd has been raising concerns that the survey was only online and not well publicized. As for the qualities for a new chief, reducing crime is number one, changing the department's culture, building trust with the community, and someone who holds their employees accountable.
What they're saying is whoever is going to be the next police chief, they want them to be what we refer to as transparent, but they want to be honest with the community.
Floyd says there must be a partnership between the black community and police.
And will the police chief enforce the rules of the department? They have, instead of every time something happens, we make a new policy. When you have policies in place to meet.
Here's the breakdown. 72.4% believe the new chief should have a track record of reducing crime and promoting community safety. 64.7% believe that crime reduction should be the top priority.
That begs the question of how do we interdict? How do we intervene in these drugs and weapons coming into our community and stop their use? That's what they're really saying.
The mayor's office says they are still in the process of going over community responses from virtual town hall meetings.
And if you want a lot of response from this, there needs to be, some methodology to get widespread response from the community.
They walk the black community. Do that again. Walk the community and talk to the residents. Get that information.
Now, there will be another virtual town hall meeting by the mayor's office tomorrow from 3 to 4 p.m. You can find out how to join in on it by going to our website, WHAS11.com. In studio, Taylor Woods, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
Taylor, thank you so much. Well, a man is dead after a shooting that happened in the Park Duval neighborhood. LMPD says around 2 this afternoon, they responded to a shooting on Olive Street near West Galbert Avenue. When officers arrived, they found a man who had been shot right here at this location. He was taken to the hospital where he later died of his injuries. Police say they currently do not have any suspects. Anyone with information who can help the health detectives is encouraged to call them anonymously at 574-LMPD. A new update tonight on that escaped inmate who jumped off a moving sheriff's vehicle. He's still out there somewhere, still on the run, now more than 36 hours later. We're talking about 31-year-old Norman Wolf, who escaped police custody yesterday morning near the Gene Snyder Freeway and Brownsboro Road. He was in custody on charges of burglary, evading police, and possessing a handgun as a felon. Dramatic video sent exclusively to WHAS 11 News shows Wolf right here hanging onto the side of the SUV moving north on I-71 yesterday morning. Police say he had kicked out the back window of the cruiser. When it slowed down on an exit ramp, he made his getaway. He then briefly kidnapped 2 people and had them drive him to River Road and Edith Road near downtown. Call 911 immediately if you see him. A SWAT team dragged an armed and dangerous person right out of a Jeffersonville motel this afternoon after they say James McGuffin of Louisville resisted arrest. It all happened around noon at the Holiday Motel on 10th Street near the Arby's there. Officers have been attempting to serve an arrest warrant when McGuffin got hostile and aggressive, eventually barricading himself inside. Watch closely as they make their move with police dogs right here. Jeffersonville police and the SWAT outside the room. And here they go, pulling McGuffin out and dropping him right to the ground. Witnesses all around nearby applauded. McGuffin was taken to Clark Memorial Hospital for minor injuries and will be taken to the Clark County Jail where he'll face local charges and an outstanding warrant from Louisville Metro Police. All new tonight, the woman charged in connection to the death of a little boy whose body was found in a suitcase in southern Indiana is seeking a change in venue for her upcoming trial. Dawn Coleman is charged with aiding, inducing, or causing murder, neglect of a dependent, and obstruction of justice. According to our sister station in Indianapolis, Coleman's lawyer says his client would not receive a fair trial in Washington County, Indiana, because of public hostility against her, public outrage over the offense, and news coverage. Prosecutors say Coleman helped Dejon Anderson dispose of the body of Anderson's son, Cairo Jordan, in April of last year. Locally, families involved in the Langford funeral home case, also out of Jeffersonville, packed the courtroom today as Randy Langford was expected to change his plea. Law enforcement found dozens of bodies decomposing in Langford's funeral home last year. Langford faces numerous charges, including negligence and intentional infliction of emotional distress. We were expecting a change of plea in court this morning, but that didn't happen because the judge in this case is currently sick. Langford faces 12 years if convicted, most of which would be spent on probation. Victims' families are not okay with that. Cynthia Lori Koch says she was told her daughter's body had been cremated for weeks before officers found it inside the funeral home.
You know, that's people's lives. You know, no, he didn't kill him, but you have to respect the dead. And how would he feel if it was his family?
Langford will be back in court next Friday, where he's expected to change his plea. Tonight, we are remembering the legendary Jim Brown, who visited Louisville on occasion. The Hall of Fame running back and civil rights activist died today at the age of 87. One of football's true first superstars, Jim Brown shattered league records in a short career before retiring in his prime to become an actor. Brown used his platform and voice to fight for equality for Black Americans during the height of the civil rights movement. In 1967, he organized the Cleveland Summit, a meeting of the nation's top black athletes to support Muhammad Ali's fight against serving in Vietnam. Brown would be honored by Ali later in 2014 here in Louisville, receiving the Lifetime Humanitarian Achievement Award at the Ali Center. Brown telling us in 2014 he was humbled and honored to be chosen.
It means everything to me. I didn't expect it. I have so much respect for Muhammad Ali.
Jim Brown returned to Louisville again for the Paul Horning Award ceremony in 2018. He is survived by his wife Monique and their child.